Hello there, hello there, hello there, my delightful chickens and mushrooms. Those are the two genders. I don't make the fucking rules. Anyway, how are we all? I'm enormously well. Uh, this was an unplanned one, but I thought, fuck it, I'm bored. So, that's literally it. I'm bored. I wanted to do a thing. And I did want to actually cover this. I'm going to look at Trump's Trainwreck annihilation on his town hall he did the other day. It's fucking beautiful. I mean, this is devastating for him. Lot of fun, lot of fun. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. We covered a little bit of it yesterday on the show. A couple of the choice cuts from it, but there are some absolute delightful things. I especially love the fact that he did this in order to purposefully avoid having to do a debate, and he essentially ended up in a debate, which was fun. The moderator absolutely kicked his fucking anus. His old, saggy, crusty anus. Anyway, how are we all in the chat? Are we alive? Are we well? Yes, hello. Hello. Yes. So, anyway. The thing you can see on screen, by the way, my little meme for today, was created by a guy called Breadman on Twitter. Go and follow Breadman. He does these funny adaptations of Ben Garrison cartoons where he replaces Trump with Marx and then puts the different words on. It's very funny. And you'll notice Marx has always got a massive cock. That's funny to me. That's just ludicrously funny. So yeah, we might be seeing a few more of these as we go along. Perhaps. I don't know. Anyway, get a little bit closer to the microphone so that the noises vaguely sync up in terms of volume as we go along. Just move the microphone slightly closer to me. That might work as well. And the Rory Cats in the chat is definitely not the Rory Cats in real life, because the Rory Cat's there. I doubt you'll be able to hear it, but it's quite loud snoring. He's snoring quite loudly. I might get him on screen later. He's looking at me like, don't even fucking touch me, you dickhead. I'll touch you. I'll touch your silly little head. There you go. He did a little squint. Anyway. Rory's fine, by the way. Yeah, he's fine. He's a malingerer. Pretending to be ill. I'm ill. Dickhead. No, he's alright. He's fine. He's going to go to the vets on Monday. It's all good. So anyway, Trump did a town hall. We know this. He didn't want to do a remote debate. So for this year there won't be 3 debates. There'll only be 2. That's assuming that one or either of them don't contract coronavirus and or die in the intermittent period between now and, is it next week or the week after they do the final debate? I forget. Anyway. So instead of doing that, they did dueling town halls. Now, a town hall meeting, for those who don't know, basically they get people in a room. Usually, it comes from, they used to be held in town halls, right? Whereas this one's obviously in a studio somewhere. This time it's been broadcast on NPC. Sorry, not NPC, NBC. Ha ha ha! Aren't I funny? No, this was being broadcast on NBC. And a lot of people were annoyed because Biden had already announced that he would be doing a thing at the same time on Thursday. And then NBC came out and said, oh, we're going to be doing this thing with Trump at exactly the same time. So basically Trump wanted to get into a dick swinging match. Because Donald Trump has always wanted to be the number one, the numero uno. He always wants the attention on him. All of the attention. That's all he's ever interested in. He's a really pathetically broken individual. He's one of the most pathetic people on the planet. He really is. And he even lost that battle. As you can see here, more people watch Biden on ABC than NBC. Than on NBC, MSNBC, and CNBC. So Trump had more outreach, could potentially reach more people, and actually got fewer ratings. Yeah. Biden's averaged 14.1 million viewers. Trump's across 3 channels got 13.5. Ouch. So he even lost that battle. which is embarrassing because Joe Biden is. I mean, look, I think people should vote for Joe Biden, but he's a boring fuck. Jesus Christ, is he a soul-destroyingly boring motherfucker to listen to? And they still prefer to listen to him than Donald Trump's wild ravings. Because people are sick of it now. It is by far more entertaining, which is why I'm going through that, and not Joe Biden's, because Joe Biden's was boring and mostly efficient. And that's all he has to be. He's a million miles ahead in the polls. Look at this shit. Hang on, that's the actual thing. 10.5 points, no, 10.6 points ahead, on average. That's the average. 10.6. And it's been steadily rising, look, for the last couple of weeks. Well, it's basically since October began. It was 8.2, and it's gradually going up 9, 9.5, 10, 10.5, and then 10.6 today. So it's just been steadily rising. Yeah, Trump's getting absolutely trounced, and so he has to. Like, he couldn't not do this town hall. He couldn't allow Biden to just have the platform, which is odd, because the only way realistically Biden can now lose is if Biden kills himself, metaphorically, or I suppose literally, but that's not going to happen. Metaphorically, by saying things. But Joe Biden needs to shut the fuck up, frankly. Just don't say things. Leave him in the bunker. It might be slightly embarrassing for his ego to have Donald Trump go, "Where's Joe Biden? He's in his bunker again." But actually, that's the safest place for him to be. Let Kamala Harris handle it. She's actually, like, still got her fucking marbles. So, yeah, just shut him up, right? Seriously, once that third debate's done, assuming Trump even bothers to turn up for it, once that third debate's done, wrap him in cotton wool, put him in his fucking, I don't know, coffin, because he's like Dracula or some shit, and then leave him there until election day. Don't let him don't let cameras near him, or microphones. He's a liability. Anyway, so, although he did fine, actually, in his town hall, there was one slightly odd thing with the court packing issue, which they don't, like, either come out for it or against it. Make a decision. Jesus. Anyway. So, but other than that, he was fine. So I'm being slightly hyperbolic, but you get the idea. So Donald Trump can't just do that. That's not Donald Trump's way. He has to come out swinging. That's the only way he knows. Even though him talking again, this must be one of the few elections in history where both major candidates for the party, or both major parties' candidates for the presidential position, are both complete liabilities for their own fucking pollsters and campaign managers must be tearing their hair out every time they go near a camera, because the potential for fuckery is enormous. But anyway, Trump has to try and do something crazy, so that's why you're seeing this shit with, like, Ice Cube the other day. They're just throwing everything at the wall because they're so far behind that even their own senators, like Ben Sass, the Republican senator for, is it Arkansas or somewhere like that, came out against him, and the GOP governor of Maryland said that she would be voting, she was going to write in Ronald Reagan. She'd literally rather write in the name of a dead person than vote for the president. Which is just a tad embarrassing for him. There's a lot of rats deserting the ship because they know they're trying to position themselves for the 2024 run, let's be honest. That's precisely what these motherfuckers are doing. There's no semblance of principle to them. They're not doing this because they think it's best for America. They're doing it because they think, well, someone's going to run in 2024. Best to distance yourself now so you can say, no, I've been slagging off Trump for years. I thought he was a wanker back before it was cool, you know. So, yeah, Trump's so far behind that he has to try something, and so he tried this. Right, he went on NBC, did his Nebraska. Thank you. Ben Sass is Nebraska. Basically, I knew it was one of the flyover states. Who cares? Like I've said this before, concrete over them and make them into a parking lot for proper America. That's the way it should work, really. That should annoy some hicks. Good. Anyway, because that's the thing. Cool people from those states know I'm joking. Idiots might go, "Oh, that's outrageous! How dare you? We've got a rich and proud tradition." Yeah, I fucking know. Calm down. Anyway. Well, that's the thing. You say no one cares about Nebraska. They get 2 senators, the same as the entire nation-sized place of California. So, unfortunately, we do have to care about Nebraska. We shouldn't have to, but we do. So, anyway, All I say we gerrymander every single white person in America into like one state. Be the weirdest looking state in the world, but we should do it. Anyway, so Trump did this, and it's a complete fucking car crash. This, for me, is one of the few occasions where journalists have actually done their fucking job under this president. You've had odd little bits of snippiness at press conferences. You had the thing with Jim Acosta, at the White House that time. Was that about 2 years ago now? Fuck, time flies when you're stuck indoors with COVID. Anyway, I didn't actually have COVID. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you've had bits and pieces of it, but this is beautiful because Trump did this basically to avoid having to do a debate. And he thought he'd go there, and whilst you might get some questions, he can do his usual ranting shit, and it plays to the base and all the rest of it. But the moderator, unlike the moderator of the first actual debate, who was shit, this woman actually took him on and like did a bit of rudimentary fact checking as he went along, and like called him out for some shit, which is what you should do. You're not there to be like the facilitator of pablum. You're there to actually say, "Oh, Mr. President, the person asked you about such and such. Can you actually answer the question? Or why did you tweet out this horrible thing?" And there are some moments here where you can just tell he's so unbelievably unfit for the job. It's embarrassing, America. Please sort yourselves the fuck out.
From NBC News, Decision 2020, President Trump like Town Hall. Live from the Perez Art Museum in Miami, here's Savannah Guthrie.
Hi, everybody, and good evening. It's good to have you with us, and welcome to Miami and our Town Hall.
Welcome to Miami. Welcome to Miami. Does everyone remember Will Smith? He was a thing. What's the audio like, people? Headphone warning. Was it a bit loud on the headphones? What are we looking like in the chats, people? It's a bit loud. Okay. I'll turn it down then. I'll turn it the fuck down. Audio on Townhall, this is pretty bad. Well, some people were saying too loud. So I've turned the audio down a little bit. So hopefully the people that said it was fine aren't bothered too much by it.
With President Donald Trump, and we want to say right off the top, this is not how things were supposed to go tonight. This was supposed to be a town hall debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. But after the president contracted COVID, the debate commission announced it would have to be a virtual debate because of health concerns. The president then said he would not participate in a virtual debate. At that point, Joe Biden scheduled a town hall tonight in Pennsylvania on another network, and now the president is doing the same, his own town hall, with the same venue, format, and time as NBC's town hall with Joe Biden last week. So
he's got such a smug face.
The two candidates go head-to-head tonight, though not face-to-face, each in a key battleground state. And tonight, the president will be taking questions from voters here in Miami, who we should mention are socially distanced and they're wearing masks. And I should say, this audience looks a bit like America. It's divided. Some here voted...
Looks a bit like America. Fucking shit. Say, cool people in America will know I'm joking. Shit people
for the president in 2016 and plan to again. Some support Joe Biden, and some say they are truly undecided. We're going to get a mix of questions on a range of topics, and we're going to get to those.
Well, to be fair, I don't think he was trying to... Well, I don't think NBC were trying to snipe views. I think Trump was just trying to scupper Biden and trying to be... He was expecting, as has been the case throughout his presidency, I suppose, that he would be the big ratings winner and he could come out and say, look, because you haven't seen him boasting about this, because A, it was a terrible performance, and B... he wanted to come out and say, look, I got 15 million viewers and he only got 12 million. Look how big my cock is, you know, because he's trying to overcompensate for the lack in that department. Anyway, but he can't do that now because people, even though this is by far more entertaining, people are sick of it now. I think people are genuinely like, can we just not do this? Can we not have... Look, she literally says the phrase, and it's so beautiful. She says at one point, you're not someone's crazy uncle, you're the president. Now, the thing is, she's wrong in the sense that he's both of those things, unfortunately. But that's true. Like, people don't want crazy uncle anymore. They want, like, a vaguely presidential figure, even if it's fucking senile, demented old cunt Biden, they'll happily have him because he won't go out there and start going on about they're letting water out into the ocean. The fishes aren't doing well without water. The fuck are you talking about? It's like a nonsense poem. Anyway, sorry. So I don't think NBC basically, the Trump campaign got in touch and went, do you want to do a town hall? And they went, well, yeah, of course. The president will bring in big numbers. That's all they give a fuck about. That's part of the why the media have played into this. It is absolutely the fucking spectacle of it. They love it. He brings ratings. The fact that he's also bringing fascism is, again, ratings, because fascism leads to, like, riots and shit. Again, more ratings. That's why I keep saying capitalism is not really pro-human.
Questions in a moment, but first, with all that ado, welcome, Mr. President, and thank you for being here.
That was very well stated, I have to say. Good job.
Thank you. We're glad you're here. We're glad you're well. We send our best to the First Lady and to Barron.
Thank you.
Do you have any remaining symptoms from COVID?
Nothing whatsoever. I'm great. I feel good. Was in North Carolina today and did a big rally. We had a tremendous turnout, and just feel really good. Florida, Pennsylvania.
It's just naming states now. Oh, I didn't put the fucking ad block on, did I? Hang on, what? Was there a black gap, so to speak? I suppose his polling team would ask that as well. Different context.
And they said, let's go to the hospital. I said, that's okay. I'm going to, respond to what you say. And we went over to Walter Reed, where you have tremendous professionals. They gave me Regeneron and Remdesivir both. And all I know is...
You didn't take Regeneron. Regeneron is the name of the company, you daft bastard. By the way, this is going to take a while to get through. This is an hour.
I felt good the following day. I felt really good.
Did the doctors ever tell you that they saw pneumonia on your lung scans?
No, but they said the lungs are, a little bit different, a little bit perhaps infected. And
infected with?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't do too much asking. I really felt...
I didn't do too much asking. That's the kind of complete lack of inquisitiveness that you don't want in a president. Like, so what did the Iranian nuclear deal consist of? I don't know. I didn't do too much asking. I just pulled out of it. Who cares? Like, what does the Paris Climate Accord actually consist of? I don't know. I didn't really do too much asking. Who cares? Oh, what was the thing that was attacking the inside of your lungs? I don't know. I wasn't really asking. I wasn't concerned.
Good. I didn't have much of a problem with the lungs. I did have a little bit of a temperature. Obviously, I felt there was something missing. And then I tested, I tested positive.
Well, let's talk about testing, because there's a little bit of confusion about this, and I think we can clear it up.
Yeah, and there shouldn't be.
Your first positive test was Thursday, October 1st. Okay.
There shouldn't be, even though you literally said that America should stop testing because then you wouldn't get positive results. A thing you said many times.
Okay. When was your last negative test? When did you last remember having a negative test?
Well, I test quite a bit, and I can tell you that before the debate, which I thought it was...
Now, to be fair, it looks like they're a lot closer. Though apparently they were 12 feet apart, which is twice double social distanced. But I know they do look a lot... I presume that's a trick of the camera. Or they were lying to us. But I would think that they wouldn't lie about that. Although they are news, so I don't know. But apparently they were 12 feet apart.
It was a very good debate, and I felt fantastically. I had no problem before.
Did you test the day of the debate?
I don't know. I don't even remember. I test all the time. But I can tell you this. After the debate, like I guess a day or so, I think it was Thursday evening, maybe even late Thursday evening, I tested positive. That's when I first found out about it.
Well, back to the debate, because the debate commission's rules, it was the honor system, would be that you would come with a negative test. You say you don't know if you got a test on the day of the debate?
I had no problem. Again, the doctors do it. I don't ask them. I test all the time, and
did you take a test, though, on the day of the debate?
If you ask the doctor, they'll give you a perfect answer. But they take a test, and I leave, and I go about my business.
Did you take a test on the day of the debate, I guess, is the
See, he tried not to answer that two times, and she asked the third fucking time. She's going to get some sort of answer. And you can tell the fact that they're being evasive about this, right? And therefore, he clearly fucking didn't do that. He didn't give two fucks who he was infecting. He's a piece of shit. He's the kind of human garbage that needs to be Certainly nowhere near the levers of power. For terms of service reasons, I'll leave it as broad as that. Anyway, because if he had, because no doubt his doctors because they're doctors, right? They keep track of when they do the tests, so they know what's going on. Because their job is to keep him alive, okay? Which, I mean, I wish they weren't as good at their job as they are, clearly. But still, that's in Minecraft, of course. So they'll know. And they'll know, oh shit, we didn't test him that day. Or maybe he said, I'm not taking a test today, or whatever. Because who knows what goes on with Trump. Maybe he had golf that day. There's a fair fucking chance numerically that's the case. Because if he had a test that day, and it came back negative, there's no fucking way they wouldn't be on top of that shit, putting that out to every motherfucker. Look, here's the thing, I had a test that day, boom, shut up. The fact that they're being evasive about it tells you everything you need to know. He was happy to put everyone, including his opponent and himself, at enormous danger. And his entire family, his fucking wife and son got it. I'd be ashamed of myself if I'd been that irresponsible and people that close to me that I mean, he doesn't love them, clearly. He's not really capable of love. But someone that close to me that I loved, and I'd feel ashamed of myself that I'd put them in that danger. But, I mean, that's, I suppose, the difference between Donald Trump and I. I have, like, human empathy. A basic sense of, like, dignity and worth to other human beings.
I probably did, and I took a test the day before and the day before, and I was always in great shape. And I was in great shape for the debate, and it was only after the debate, like a period of time after the debate, that I said, that's interesting, and they took a test, and it tested positive.
So just to button it up, do you take a test every single day?
No, but I take a lot of tests.
Okay, and you don't know if you took a test the day of the debate?
Possibly I did, possibly I didn't, but you know the doctor...
Possibly I did, possibly I did. That's a no then, Donald. We can see through you. I mean, even most of his own fans, I think, at this point can see through him. They just don't care that he's lying.
It's very accurate information, and it's not only that doctor, it's many doctors. The one thing, if you're president, you have a lot of doctors you're surrounded by. But I was in great shape for the debate.
Yeah, exactly. You have a lot. It's amazing, that, isn't it? That socialised healthcare is fine for you, Donald. But the American people, fuck them. If you're poor, you just die. This whole thing, we've got great doctors, we've got the best doctors, we've got the best vaccines. No, Donald. You have got the best doctors. You have got the best vaccines. Whilst you hypocritical sack of shit, have been denying even basic healthcare to poor Americans. Fuck you.
And sometime after the debate, I tested positive.
Let's talk about...
That's when they decided to let's go.
Okay, good. I hopefully provided some clarity for folks. Let's talk about the event that was held at the White House on the Saturday before you tested positive. Subsequent to that, 13 people connected to that event tested positive. There was an outdoor reception. You've seen the pictures. There was an indoor reception. People were not wearing masks. My question to you is, at this point in the pandemic, knowing what we know, shouldn't you have known better? Shouldn't the White House know better than to hold an event like that?
Well, they do a lot of testing in the White House. They test everybody, including me, but they test everybody. And something happened, but as far as the mask is concerned, I'm good with masks. I'm okay with masks. I tell people wear masks. But just the other day, they came out with a statement that 85% of the people that wear masks catch it.
What?
So
that's a lie. That is a lie, Donald. Complete lie. Totally made up. Based on numbers that an actual scientist put out that didn't say 85% at all. He's a liar. But more importantly, he seems to still not understand that wearing a mask doesn't... No, don't update now. Why are you updating? Fuck off. He still doesn't understand, months later, 8-9 months later, whatever it is, that wearing a mask doesn't protect you. It protects everyone around you. So if everyone wears a mask, everyone's protected. To some extent. It's not perfect by a long shot, but it's a very, very sensible step to take. Because I protect everyone around me, and if everyone else around me wears a mask, they're all protecting me and each other. Again, basic empathy and feeling of worth towards other human beings.
You know,
they didn't say that. I know that study.
Well, that's what I heard, and that's what I saw. And regardless, but everybody's tested, and they're tested often. And I also knew that, hey, I'm president. I have to see people. I can't be in a basement. I can't be in a room. I have to be out.
You can see people with a mask, though, right?
Well, no, but you can do a lot of meetings virtually. That's the beauty of the modern era. Once upon a time, a president did have to go to places. Now, there are still some places he does have to go, but as she's about to point out, wear a mask. But you can actually do a lot of your meetings virtually. It's very useful.
I can, but people with masks are catching it all the time. I mean, if you look at the governor of Virginia, he was known for a mask. If you look at Tom Tillis, a great guy,
No, he was known for... The governor of Virginia was known for blackface. Let's be honest.
Always had a mask, and they caught it.
Well, there are pictures of Tom Tillis actually with one of Judge Barrett's kids not wearing a mask. But Chris Christie, he was part of your debate prep.
Yeah.
He was, I believe, at that event. He came out tonight. He was sick, very sick. He was in the hospital for about a week.
I know
he
that.
came out tonight and said, "I was wrong not to wear a mask."
Well, I mean, he has to say that. I think it's great. He's a friend of mine. He's a good guy. And
no, he isn't. He's a
wrong
guy.
Or not wrong. You have to understand, as president, I can't be locked in a room someplace for the next year and just stay and do nothing. And every time
you won't be president in a year.
I go into a crowd, I was with the parents of our fallen heroes. These people are the most incredible people. And they came up to me, and they would hug me, and they would touch me, and I'm not going to not let them do it.
Now,
to be
they lay their hands on me, and I heal those people.
After the Supreme Court
Gold
event.
Star event with the most incredible people you've ever seen. And I could have chosen not to
not the Gold
to
Star
them, or
family
to
that
keep
you abused
everybody
because they
away.
were Muslims.
And you know what? And I don't think that's probably where it was caught, but maybe it was.
I was going to say, you bring it up. You brought it up yourself. I mean, are you trying to suggest that? Do you believe a grieving military family gave you COVID?
No, I don't know where it came from.
Okay.
And you don't know where it came from, and the doctors don't know where it came from. But as the president, I have to be out there. I also know...
Well, there's no one that says you can't be out there, but it's just about wearing masks and having, for example, your rallies.
I know this.
Your rallies don't require masks.
Oh, no. I mean, let's see Kamala. She's got people now. People have it, and I'm not blaming her. I'm not saying, oh, she did a terrible thing.
Yes, yeah, you are. That's precisely what you're saying.
As president, I have to be out there.
You're
I can't be in a basement. I can't be locked in a very beautiful room someplace in the White House. And I want to see the Gold Star families, and I want to see everybody. And I also say to people all the time, it's risky doing it. It is risky doing it.
But as
it's
president, you're right. You don't want to. You want to be a leader. But you also are a leader and a setter of an example. And if you're not wearing a mask when your administration is saying best practice right now is wear a mask, no, it's not foolproof.
But many people are catching it. Many people are getting this disease that was sent to us by China, and it shouldn't have been allowed to happen. But many people are getting this.
Yeah, but the point is you can stop more people getting it. No one's saying it's going to stop any people getting it, you fucking idiot.
I mean, nobody's being blamed. Everybody is working hard to get this thing out of our country,
you just blame
get it
China,
out of the world.
Idiot.
Look at what's going on in Europe. Massive spikes. They've done a very good job, but now you take a look today at the UK, you take a look at Spain and France and Italy.
Yeah, we're still not having spikes like in America, though. Even though we have, I mean, Britain has totally fucked it up. Absolutely embarrassing shambles of a thing. But America's still actually worse.
There's tremendous spikes.
But our death rate is worse than, well, not Spain, but those other countries.
I have things right here that will tell you exactly the opposite.
Me too.
So the UK is up 2,500%, because I knew you'd be doing this. I know you very well. The UK is up 2,500%.
No, I knew you'd be bringing numbers, you bitch.
722%. And the United States is down 21%.
But we have, our deaths per capita is among...
Down 21% from a massively high level is still massively high. That's not how numbers work.
The highest among
excess mortality, we're a winner on the excess mortality.
Yeah, because people aren't dying of the flu because they're not fucking mingling.
We have done an amazing job. And it's rounding the corner, and we have the vaccines coming, and we have the therapies coming. And I'll tell you what, one thing, when I got it, I had a choice, do nothing or use some of the things that we're looking at, like in this case, Regeneron. Yeah. And Eli Lilly makes something that's supposed to be incredible. And I think that maybe I wouldn't be doing this discussion with you right now. We have therapies now and cures, maybe. You can use the word cure, but we...
No, you can't use the word cure. You actually can't use the word cure. Not honestly, anyway. And also, you have access to it, Donald, but everyone else doesn't.
They're absolutely incredible.
I want to pick up on something you just said. You said we're rounding the corner.
I believe we're rounding the corner.
Now, 10% of the country approximately has had COVID. That means 80, 90%, 90%, let's do the math, is still vulnerable.
Right.
There's been some talk, including from the White House lately, that perhaps it approves of what's called herd immunity. That's where you basically just let young people and everybody get sick. You try to protect the old people and those who are sick, and hopefully it gets up to a certain level, and now we're all immune. So let's just be clear about it. It also means more deaths. Do you support herd immunity as a strategy? Essentially just let people get sick.
The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. We did the right thing. We were expected to lose 2,200,000 people and maybe more than that. We're at 210,000 people. One person is too much. It should have never happened because of China. It happened because of China.
No one's being blamed, but I'm blaming China.
To get that and understand that. But it shouldn't have happened. But we were expected to lose. If you look at the original charts from original doctors who are respected by everybody, 2,200,000
people. That 2 million figure, though, is if you literally did nothing. People. The 2 million figure is if you did.
If you did nothing. Just fact-checking.
Absolutely nothing, it would be 2 million. The question is, should the deaths be better than 200,000 when, relative to the rest of the world, we have a worse death rate?
I left North Carolina, which I love. I left Pennsylvania. We won a big case in Michigan because that governor has a lockdown where nobody but her husband can do anything. He can go boating and do whatever he wants, but nobody else can. The fact is we're winning all these cases because it's unconstitutional what they're doing. And I think they're doing it for political reasons.
Garbage.
But the fact is the cure...
Whereas he wants to get a rush through a vaccine before Election Day, but that's totally not political.
You can't let this continue to go on with the lockdowns.
Well, most
and I
of the
believe
states,
that on November 4th, you're going to have a lot of these governors. Look at what's happening to New York. New York is a mess. They lost almost 40,000 people. They have a lockdown like you've never seen. Now they're open. It's like a ghost town.
Let's get
and Savannah, it's very important. People are leaving New York by the thousands. And you're going to have a hard time ever building it up again.
That
cure, that so-called cure that you talk about, it can't be worse than the problem. The problem is a bad problem.
We've got more questions on COVID, so let's drop it for now. We were supposed to, as mentioned, be watching you on a debate stage right now. We're not doing that, so let's clear up a few things from the last one. You were asked point blank to denounce white supremacy. In the moment, you didn't. You asked some follow-up questions. Who specifically? A couple of days later, on a different show, you denounced white supremacy.
No,
My question to you is...
You always do this, quoting the thing I said. It's outrageous. How dare you?
You've done this to me and everybody.
Why does it seem like...
I denounce white supremacy, okay?
You did 2 days later.
I've denounced white supremacy for years, but you always do it. You always start off with a question. You didn't...
He has to try and skirt this fine line of saying... initially not denouncing it, so he gives them enough for the conspiracy fucking idiots to go, look, he's with us, and then come out and do the, oh no, I denounce white supremacy. I'm not a white supremacist. Talking of conspiracies, by the way, big day in the QAnon world. Some bubbles are going to be burst because apparently this is the day where JFK Jr., who's a big part of some of the people, because QAnon's various factions of nonsense, you understand. JFK Jr. is going to reveal himself and be announced as Donald Trump's running mate today. It's not going to happen, obviously. Of course it's not going to fucking happen. But that's the thing. So I can't wait to see the excuses they're going to come out with when, come midnight, that hasn't happened.
I didn't ask Joe Biden whether or not he denounces Antifa. I watched him on the same basic show with...
Well, yeah, he actually has. He's denounced the violence anyway. But again, it's an idea rather than a group, like Proud Boys or whatever.
Lester Holt, and he was asking questions like Biden was a child.
Well, so this is a little bit of a dodge.
Are you listening? I denounce white supremacy.
Okay.
What's your next question?
Do you feel, it feels sometimes you're hesitant to do so, like you wait a beat.
Here we go again. Every time, in fact, my people came, I'm sure they'll ask you the white supremacy question. I denounce white supremacy.
Okay.
Under his skin. Under his creepy orange skin.
And frankly, you want to know something? I denounce Antifa, and I denounce these people on the left that are burning down our cities that are...
Do you denounce your supporters who are planning to kidnap various political figures in America? Do you denounce Kyle Rittenhouse, who murdered 2 people? No, you don't. In fact, actually, you've literally recently bragged about ordering the US Marshals to go in and execute an American citizen because he politically opposed you. He was only a suspect of a crime. They executed him. He said they didn't want to arrest him, which basically means he ordered them not to arrest him. He ordered the execution of an American citizen. That's fascism.
Run by Democrats who don't know what they're doing.
While we're denouncing, let me ask you about QAnon. It is this theory that Democrats are a satanic pedophile ring and that you are the savior of that. Now, can you just once and for all state that that is completely not...
Look, people asking me in the chat, can they have a job at Antifa? I'm the CEO. I don't deal with recruitment, okay? That's below my pay grade. Get in touch with the recruitment people. We'll see what we can do. I deal with the bigger picture stuff, yeah? I'm an ideas man. I'm not a pen pusher. I'm not one of these paper people. I deal with the big ideas as the CEO of the Antifa's Super Soldiers Incorporated.
True, and that disavow QAnon in its entirety?
I know nothing about QAnon.
He knows nothing about QAnon. Nothing. He's the president, but he doesn't know about it.
I just told you.
I know very little. You told me, but what you tell me doesn't necessarily make it fact. I hate to say that. I know.
Yeah, but that is what QAnon is. And you know that's what it is. But he has to skirt the fine line.
Nothing about it. I do know they are very much against pedophilia.
So he doesn't know anything about them, but he knows they're against pedophilia. Yeah, we believe you.
They fight it very hard, but I know nothing about it.
They believe it is a satanic cult run by the deep state.
The subject. I'll tell you what I do know about. I know about Antifa, and I know about the radical left.
Antifa. Fucking hell. It's broken.
I know how violent they are, and
I know how violent your fucking fans are, you cunt.
Vicious they are, and I know how they're burning down cities run by...
They genuinely think they're burning down cities? There are no cities being burned down. There are like a couple of buildings that have been burned down. Cities being burned down.
Democrats, not run by Republicans.
Republican Senator Ben Sasse said, quote, QAnon is nuts, and real leaders call conspiracy theories conspiracy theories.
He may be
Why not
right.
just say it's crazy and not true?
He may be right. I just don't know about QAnon.
You do know.
It's amazing what he doesn't know, isn't it? He doesn't know about the Proud Boys. He doesn't know about QAnon. It's very convenient, the things he doesn't know about.
Oh.
I don't know. No, I don't know. I don't know.
Let me ask you another thing.
Let's waste a whole show. You start off with white supremacy, I denounce it. You start off with something else, let's go. Keep asking me these questions.
I do have one more in this vein.
Let me just tell you, what I do hear about it is they are very strongly against pedophilia. And I agree with that. I mean, I do agree with that.
Do ya? Because you were very big friends with Jeffrey Epstein. You were very significantly close to him for many years and bragged about how he likes them young, Donald.
And I agree
but
with
there's not a satanic pedophile cult being run by.
I know nothing
you don't know
about
that? Okay.
No, I don't know that.
You just this
neither
week.
do you know that.
Yeah, we don't know. They could be satanic pedophiles.
Okay, just this week you retweeted.
Why aren't you asking me about Antifa? Why aren't you asking me about the radical left?
Because you're
why
volunteering
aren't you asking Joe Biden questions about why
don't you ask him at a debate that you chickened out of?
Doesn't he condemn Antifa? Why does he say it doesn't exist?
Because you're here before me.
No, that's so cute. Antifa exists. They're vicious. They're
such
violent,
a bitch.
They kill people, and they're burning down our cities.
Your
and
fucking
they happen
fans
to be
kill
radical
people.
left.
Just this week, you retweeted to your 87 million followers a conspiracy theory that Joe Biden orchestrated to have SEAL Team 6, the Navy SEAL Team 6, killed to cover up the fake death of bin Laden.
She's actually murdering him.
Now, why would you send a lie like that to your
about
followers?
it.
You retweeted
That was a retweet. That was an opinion of somebody.
But
yeah, that you retweeted, you dopey cunt.
And that was a retweet. I'll put it out there. People can decide for themselves. I don't take a position.
You're not like someone's crazy uncle who can just retweet what.
This is a murder. Well, we are. Look at that face. We are witnessing an actual fucking murder here. You're not someone's crazy uncle.
That was a retweet, and I do a lot of retweets. And frankly, because the media is so fake and so corrupt, if I didn't have social media, I don't call it Twitter, I call it social media, I wouldn't be able to get the word out. And the word is false. And you know what the word is? The word is very simple.
Everybody's heard about the word bird. The bird's the word bird.
We're building our country stronger and better than it's ever been before. And that's what's happening, and everybody knows it.
Okay, we got a bunch of questions for you.
We're winning in a lot of states.
Okay.
Oh, yeah? Do we have to go back? You're not winning in many states at all, actually, Donald. 10.6 points back. 10.6. Hang on a minute. You go to, hang on. Where's the battleground statey one? There we go. This one. Oh, he's only winning in 12 with one tie. 87%. Yeah, look at this. You're losing everywhere, man. He's losing in Georgia, although narrow. North Carolina, Arizona. Fucking hell, man. Ohio, he's somehow managing to claw onto Ohio. Texas. Look at that, the District of Columbia. It's only 3 electoral votes, but Trump's on to 6.7%. Ooh, okay.
Winning in a lot of states.
Let me ask, okay, I'm glad you brought up the election because I do want to ask about that. That's another kind of leftover item. A lot of people have asked you, will you accept a peaceful transfer of power? You have said repeatedly, the only way we lose this election is if it is rigged. Now, that is simply not true. The fact is either candidate can lose fair and square without ballot fraud. So will you accept the results of the election?
That's the way I want it to be. But when I see thousands of ballots, right? Unsolicited ballots being given out by the millions and
thousands of ballots being given out in the millions. I don't think this kind of lack of precision of numbers suggests that he knows what the fuck he's talking about.
Thousands of them are dumped in dumpsters and
didn't happen.
When you see ballots with the name Trump, military ballots from our great military, and they're dumped in garbage cans.
That is a handful. We could go all night, which we won't. But we could go all night, one by one.
Well, even if it happens every day, if it happens once every day to like 4 ballots, that's not great. But there are many reasons why ballots get thrown out. They're not being thrown in dumpsters every day. In fact, I've yet to see any evidence that they've been thrown in dumpsters at all, but whatever.
Single case is single there. You're talking about 150 million votes. Your own FBI director says there is no evidence of widespread fraud.
Well, then he's not doing a very good job.
Why did you put him in place then? Or keep him in place, whatever, I don't know.
All you have to do is pick up the papers every day. 50,000.
Yeah, the FBI just need to pick up the papers. He's a fucking idiot, man. Look, I hate the FBI, but I think they've got slightly more intricate and more detailed ways of collecting evidence than pick up the papers.
In Ohio, the great state of Ohio, 50,000 in another location, I think North Carolina, 500,000 applications in Virginia. No, there's a tremendous problem. But let me just tell you, they talk about the peaceful transfer, right? They spied on my campaign and they got caught.
Did not.
And they spied heavily on my campaign.
No, they
didn't. They tried to take down a duly elected sitting president. And
via legal means.
Then they talk about, will you accept a peaceful transfer? And the answer is yes, I will. But I want it to be an honest election. And so.
But the thing is, we already know. You've already said the only way you could lose is by fraud. So you won't accept any loss as not fraudulent. So you're being dishonest.
As everybody else.
Again.
When I see thousands of ballots dumped in a garbage can and they happen to have my name on it, I'm not happy about that.
But just those are cases. I mean, there is in fact nonsense. No evidence of widespread fraud, and you were sowing doubt about our democracy. Our democracy.
How can you say that? You do read newspapers.
I do.
You do watch the news.
Yes,
I know you read the news, but do you watch it?
I do.
Because every day they're talking about ballots that are corrupt, that are fraudulent.
And millions that are being processed right now.
Sure, but you can win a race. Take a look at me. You can win a race by 1%.
But why are you laying the groundwork for that right now? It's like if I go play tennis with my husband and I say my ankle's hurting right now.
I don't want that to happen, Savannah. I want it to be clean.
Okay.
I really feel we're going to win. But I want this to be clean. But it's sort of ironic that you and them talk about the peaceful transfer when I spent 3.5 years fighting off these maniacs, and now...
These maniacs, that's presidential behaviour. By the way, Donald, nothing that they did was not peaceful. Literally nothing that they did was not peaceful. So I don't know what that's a reference to.
Now it turns out, everything's there, that they were the ones that dealt with Russia. And it's too...
What are you talking about? It's fucking on him.
But peaceful transfer, I absolutely want that. But ideally, I don't want to transfer because I want to win.
Yes, and I think that your words will probably reassure some folks. Let's get to our first voter. We've got Jacqueline Lugo. Now, she is, I told you this audience is truly split between y'all. You are leaning Biden. She voted for Clinton in 2016. She's registered as an independent. Jacqueline, what's your question for the president? And you hold the mic up close and take off your mic because it's hard to hear out here.
Good evening.
How are you?
Welcome to Miami.
Thank you very much. It's beautiful.
Mr. President, if you knew COVID-19, as you told Bob Woodward in February...
As what?
As you told Bob Woodward in February was airborne and deadlier than the flu, why did you only put in place a travel ban from China and not put in place other measures mitigating the spread of COVID-19, potentially saving tens of thousands of American lives?
Well, I did put it in.
This has been so far. This has been 20 minutes of slaughter. Like it does peter out a little bit towards the end or the second half, but this so far has been amazing.
Very early, as you know. Joe Biden was 2 months behind me, and he called me xenophobic and racist and everything else because I put it in. And it turned out that I was 100% right. I also put it on Europe very early because I saw there was a lot of infection in Europe.
It was like a month later.
And it's sort of an amazing question, and I appreciate the question and respect the question, but the news doesn't get out the right answer because I put on a travel ban far earlier than Dr. Fauci thought it was necessary, who I like, far earlier than the scientists. I was actually the only one that wanted to put it on, and I did it.
That's not true. People were calling for it much earlier. And they were calling for bans on other places as well that had high infection rates.
Against the advice of a lot of people, including Nancy Pelosi, who had no clue what she was doing, and Biden. When I put on the travel ban, I put it on in January, the end of January. When I put on the travel ban, Joe Biden and others said, this is ridiculous.
Also, there were still Americans coming back from China, so you didn't actually put on a full travel ban at all.
You don't do that. Well, Dr. Fauci said I saved thousands and thousands of lives.
Did you?
I was early. I was extremely early when I put on the travel ban.
Can I ask you, did your national security advisor on January 28th in the Oval Office warn you that this would be the greatest national security risk of your administration?
No,
he didn't say it, or you don't remember?
I read it someplace. Maybe Woodward said it or something. But no, he did not say that. But I knew it was a big threat. At the same time, I don't want to panic this country. I don't want to go out and say everybody's going to die.
Isn't there a middle ground? You don't.
The idea that Donald Trump doesn't want to scare people or panic people is nonsense. He's literally going around saying California is in hell right now. So it doesn't really sit well with his general...
No, mislead, but you can...
No, there's not a middle ground. You have to be safe, you have to be vigilant, and you have to be smart.
You're going to like this next couple of voters. It's a mom and a daughter.
Good.
Mom, Barbara, voted for you in 2016. She's leaning to vote for you again. Now, her daughter was too young to vote last time. She's going to vote for her first time in a presidential campaign, and she is leaning Biden. So imagine the dinner table at their house, okay? So, Barbara, why don't you go first and ask your question?
Bienvenido a Miami.
Thank you.
Mr. Trump, as a frontline ER doctor working through the coronavirus pandemic, pandemic.
Right.
I know firsthand, and I've seen that many hospitals throughout the United States are suffering financial hardships. These economic effects are trickling down to the frontline workers.
Right.
We are being, across the country, frontline workers are being fired, they're being furloughed, our salaries are being cut. And this is also happening in other economic sectors as well, including the travel industry and hospitality.
Right.
My question to you is, how are you going to get the United States back on track, both in terms of the economy and the pandemic?
So it's happening. We just set a record, 11.4 million jobs. We are going to have a phenomenal third quarter, which will be announced on November 1st, just prior to the big November 3rd day, where I think you're going to see a red wave. But
you're not, but okay. Firstly, that's obvious election tampering. And secondly, adding 11 million jobs after you lost like 40 million or whatever.
We're going to have a tremendous announcement. I believe. I mean, we're going to find out. But GDP is going through the roof. Jobs,
no, it isn't.
Real estate, houses, so many things are happening.
Bastard.
So people were saying we were going to have a 42% unemployment. Look, this was a thing that came into our country, and it happened more than 100 years ago, and it happened now. They were talking about a 42% unemployment rate.
Who was talking about that? I heard 20%.
It just came out at 7.8% unemployment, and people can't even believe it. Our economy is going to be next year, if we don't have somebody that raises taxes and quadruples taxes, which they want to do and kills everything, our economy is going to be phenomenal next year. We're going to have a phenomenal. And
it just makes up any old shit.
The greatest economy in the history of our country last year, including the state of Florida, where we are now, and Pennsylvania, and North Carolina, and Ohio, every place. We had the greatest economy we ever had. We had to close it down. We saved 2 million lives.
No, it was already dying.
We have a V-shape, and it's coming back. It's coming back very fast. One other thing, we really helped the hospitals. We've sent billions and billions of dollars to the hospitals. In addition, hundreds of millions of masks and gowns.
That's socialism.
And we went into the ventilator business because this country
we
was
went
not
into
equipped
the
with
ventilator. What are you talking about?
For it. But we're now making
He's
thousands of ventilators a month, and we have all we can use. We're sending them all over the world because the world needs them. So they've worked very hard and really very, very effectively. Thank you. Great question.
Let's talk to Isabella. Put the mic close to your mouth. Okay, go ahead.
Mr. President, my parents are, as you heard, both frontline healthcare workers, and I've seen the physical and the mental tolls that this pandemic has taken on them firsthand, as well as the exacerbation of coronavirus due to Americans who are not wearing masks or participating in social distancing. After contracting COVID-19 yourself, has your opinion changed on the importance of mask wearing?
No, because I was okay with the masks. I was good with it, but I've heard many different stories.
You're a lying cunt.
On masks. I mean, I had, being president, you have people, they bring meals, they bring this, and I had an instance recently where a very wonderful person is bringing me a meal, and he's playing with his mask, and he's touching his mask all over the place, and then he's bringing a plate in, and I'm saying, well, I don't know if that's so good.
Yeah, because you're a germaphobe weirdo. And he was telling this stuff before as well. With the waiters. Do you remember the waiters touching the mask? What are you talking about, you fucking
the good news, I didn't eat it,
bastard.
okay? I decided not to eat it. This was a month ago, but look.
So they made a meal for him and he went, no. Because the man touched his face or something? Oh, Jesus.
Have on the masks, you have two stories. You have a story where they want, a story where they don't want. I am all for it.
I don't get that because it's just all of your public health officials, your administration, they're in unison about this. No. They're all in unison about it. The University of Washington, which is they have a model that your coronavirus task force relies on, says that if everyone wore a mask, you could cut expected deaths in half.
And then 60,000
lives.
Disagree?
Well, what does that mean?
Yeah, you have crazy motherfuckers who aren't like experts.
Atkins, if you look at Scott, Dr. Scott, he's from great guy, Stanford. He will tell you
he's
that
not an infectious disease expert.
No, I don't.
No, he's not. And look, and he goes, oh, okay. Yeah, he's not a doctor in the thing that you're trying to talk about. So why the fuck should we listen to him?
No, look, he's an expert. He's one of the great experts.
No, he's not an expert. He's not an expert in communicable diseases. That's not what he does.
The world.
But I don't get it because you have so much power and influence as president. You could go to you could require it at your rallies, and you could say, everyone put on a mask right now. And the University of Washington says you would save lives.
University of Washington, and you have other places say different things. You have a lot of, hey, Dr. Fauci said don't wear a mask, right?
At first, but then everybody agreed.
Yeah, in order to try and save frontline workers by making sure they had the PPE. It wasn't because masks weren't a good idea. It's because there weren't enough masks.
Oh, I don't know that he changed his mind. But then you have a report coming out 2 days ago that 85% of the people wearing masks...
I looked at that report. It's not about mask wearing.
You're a lying cunt, Donald. You're a lying cunt.
It was neutral on the question of masks.
We're on the same side. I say wear the mask. I'm fine with it. I have no problem. We're on the same side.
Let's take a break.
No,
we're going to get more questions right after this. Alonzo, come on out, Christy. She is leaning slightly towards you. She says she voted for you in 2016. Christy, you ready? Take the mask off, hold the mic close, and let's hear your question.
Thank you for your service, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
We're a hard-working, middle-class family of 4. My husband and I are both self-employed, and we have to get our own individual health care. As you know, healthcare costs have gone up considerably over the decades, and you had originally said you were going to repeal and replace Obamacare. What is your plan now in 2020 to make healthcare costs affordable for Americans like myself?
So we got rid of the individual mandate on Obamacare, which was the worst part of Obamacare.
No,
now you could actually say it's not Obamacare because that's how big it was, where you had to pay a fortune for
pre-existing conditions.
The privilege of not having to pay for bad health insurance. So we got rid of that. That was a big, big thing. And by doing that, and we will always have, by the way, we're always protecting people with pre-existing conditions, and I can't...
It's not true. You went to federal court to try and get rid of the pre-existing conditions, saying that it was unconstitutional. You lying bastard.
Say that more strongly. But we've been able to bring healthcare costs way down. Now, I took over Obamacare, got rid of the individual mandate, made it good, managed it much better. Remember, they had the $5 billion...
Yeah, that is a bit, yeah, when she said thank you for your service. He's a draft-dodging prick.
Website disaster and all of the problems they had. The problem with Obamacare, it's not good. We'd like to terminate it, and we want a much less expensive health care.
No, you have to carry it to term. You can't terminate it. How dare you? We are pro-life for bills in this fucking house.
That's a much better health care, and that's where we're aiming. And if we can do that, and we have a very good chance of doing it, but we've also brought down the price of Obamacare. Problem with Obamacare,
are you telling me to sit up or him?
It's never going to be great, and I want to give great health care.
Mr. President, I got to
thank you very much.
On the pre-existing conditions, this is such a big issue for voters.
It is a big issue for me, too.
In point of fact, your administration is about to go to the Supreme Court to argue to throw out the rest of Obamacare, which includes the protections for pre-existing conditions.
That's right.
So your administration is in court right now trying to get rid of that protection.
In order to replace it with a much better health care at a much lower price, and always, under all circumstances, we are going to protect the Republicans. And I mean, maybe I changed the party a lot over the last 3 years, but...
Yeah, you turned them into outright fascists. Before, they were kind of hidden fascists.
We will protect people with pre-existing conditions.
No, you won't. Savannah, you've literally been trying to get rid of it from the very start, you lying bastard.
What I want to do, get rid of the terrible Obamacare. I've already done it to a large extent because, as you know, the individual mandate is gone. That was the worst part.
You've repealed, but you haven't replaced. Now, you've been in office almost 4 years.
What we have done...
You had both houses of Congress, Senate and House, in Republican hands, and there is not a replacement yet.
That's right. I'm sorry.
You're shit at your job, Donald. This is a train wreck for him.
Sorry, but if you look, we had both houses, and what did we do? We got rid of the individual mandate.
But
that went through the legislature.
The promise was repeal and replace.
Look.
And you didn't replace.
On the same side. I want it very simple. I'm going to put it very simple. We would like to terminate it, and we would like to replace it with something that's much less expensive and much better. We will always protect people with pre-existing conditions.
But if you're successful in court in November, those pre-existing conditions, that promise will be gone.
If we don't succeed, we are running the remnants of whatever's left because we took it apart. we are running the remnants of whatever is left much better than the previous administration, which ran it very badly. But we'd like to have new health care, much better and much less expensive.
Let me get to question number 5, and you'll like this. He's stuck in traffic. His name is Joe White. He is registered as a Democrat.
He's
he says he's leaning toward Biden, and Biden voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. And his question was, a second stimulus payment has been broadly agreed upon by the Republicans and Democrats, and yet now we're in October and it's still not passed. Why not use your office to make the second stimulus payment a separate, targeted emergency relief package to help Americans weather the pandemic?
Well, we've actually passed 3 packages, and we're on our 4th. And I agree with him 100%. He should vote for me. The problem you have is Nancy Pelosi. She couldn't care less about the worker. She couldn't care less about our people. And we should have...
What's that in the chat? I've got a question there. Does Prime Minister Boris Johnson speak this way to the press and people in the same way? No, he's not anywhere near as disrespectful. He's as empty on actual substance. It's all rhetoric. It's all nonsense. But he's not nearly as... I don't know, just abusive and unpleasant. He's as full of shit, but he's just not as like, you're fake news, fuck you. Like his character is more affable.
A stimulus, and I want a stimulus. The Republicans will approve a stimulus. The problem is she doesn't want to do it because she thinks it's bad for her election. The fact is she's wrong.
And you only want to do it
she's in our way. She's not approving it. She doesn't appreciate our people, and she doesn't.
You want your name on the check. That's the entire shtick.
Appreciated all our workers. Nancy Pelosi, we are ready to sign and pass stimulus, but she's got to approve.
People do not love the back and forth of Washington, but this has been a roller coaster. Back in early October, you one day tweeted, "No more negotiations until after Election Day. I'm walking away." Then I think the next couple of days you said maybe we can do something targeted. Then you said, I want a big, big bill. But then Senate Republicans said, no, we're not for that. So you're the big deal maker. How come this is so... You yourself have changed positions.
Did you ever hear a word called negotiation?
Murder.
Okay?
But people's lives are hanging in the balance.
And you know who I'm negotiating against? Nancy Pelosi, because she doesn't want to give the money. We should have stimulus. This was
the Republicans
not our people's
don't want to
fault.
give
This
the
was
money.
China's fault. And she's penalizing our people. I'm ready to sign a big, beautiful stimulus. You saw the other day, I say, go big or go home, right?
That's what
I want it to be big. I want it to be bold. I want the money to go directly to the people. Are
Senate Republicans with you? They're going to go big?
They'll go.
Big old number?
They'll go. They're going to be...
No, they've already said they won't do that.
Because so far they have not said they would.
Because I haven't asked them to, because I can't get through Nancy Pelosi.
I haven't asked them to.
Okay.
What a negotiator.
Nancy Pelosi and I, through my representatives or directly, I don't care. If we agree to something, the Republicans will agree to it.
Okay. Our next question comes from, this is interesting. She voted for Clinton in 2016, but recently changed her registration from Democrat to Independent. She says she's truly undecided. Her name's Becky Lightman. Hello, Becky. What's your question?
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Nice to see you. Thank you.
Good to see you. So, corporate tax rates are a hot button issue, and you have cut corporate tax rates, and your opponent Joe Biden is planning to raise them.
Right.
A lot of Americans think that corporations don't pay their share of taxes and want to see those tax rates increase. Right. What do you say to those Americans to maybe tell them why you want the corporate tax rate lower and why that helps them?
It's a great question.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Right-wing populism doesn't give a fuck about people. Doesn't give a fuck about the small guy.
We've created more jobs than this country has ever created.
What the fuck does that mean? It's such lies.
We're up to 160 million jobs. We were never even close to that number. We were just hitting 100.
Well, the population has risen, Donald. It's about percentages more than anything.
160 million jobs. Companies are pouring into our nation because of the tax rate. And if Biden comes in and raises taxes on everybody, including middle-income taxes, which he wants to do, you will blow this thing and you'll end up with a depression, the likes of which you've never had. That's what's going to happen. We have something that's really good. The reason we're coming back so strong is because we built a very strong foundation. Companies are moving in. Car companies are moving into Michigan and to Ohio and to
No, they're not, you fucking fantasist.
South Carolina and North Carolina just today. So what's happening is they're coming in because we reduced the taxes. Our taxes, our corporate taxes, were the highest in the world. And
that's such a blatant lie. They're one of the lowest taxation rates in the world, outside of, what, the Cayman Islands. You lying bastard.
Now they're among the lower taxes. They're not the lowest, but they're among the lowest. And what that means is jobs. But also, we're doing a very big, and we've done a very big middle-income tax package. So if we get in, we're going to do the middle-income tax package.
Your tax cuts are entirely for the millionaires and billionaires.
If he comes along and raises rates, all those companies that are coming in, they will leave the U.S. so fast.
Really? Because he wants to raise it back to the same level it was under George Bush. W rather than HW. Yeah, so I mean, you just talk.
Your head will spin. We can't let that happen.
On the subject of taxes, as you know, the New York Times has obtained, it says, years of your tax returns. Among other things, it says that you have debts of approximately $421 million that you have personally guaranteed and that will come due in the next 4 years. The question is, on behalf of voters, who do you owe $421 million to?
First of all, let me answer. What they did is illegal, number one. Also, the numbers are all wrong with the numbers they released. And just so you understand, when you have a lot of real estate, I have real estate, you know a lot of it, okay? Right down the road, Doral, big stuff, great stuff.
Losing shit tons
of money. When I decided to run, I'm very under-levered, fortunately, but I'm very under-levered. I have a very, very small percentage of debt compared, in fact, some of it I did as favors to institutions that wanted to loan me money. $400 million compared to the assets that I have, all of these great properties all over the world, and frankly, the bank
that you haven't divested from. So you're clearly in breach of the law there, because you're acting in behalf of yourself rather than the U.S. state.
Of America building in San Francisco. I don't love what's happening to San Francisco.
Well, do I hear you right? It sounds like you're saying $400 million isn't that much.
One of the biggest office buildings.
But are you confirming that yes, you do owe some $400 million?
What I'm saying is that it's a tiny.
So that's a yes then.
Percentage of my net worth.
That sounds like.
Well, if that's true, why are you only paying $750 in federal income tax? Donald.
You'll see that soon because we're doing things, you know, we've given, I think it's 108 or 112 pages of financial detail to elections, and, you know, we have to file as the president, as any politician, you have to file. Nobody ever looks at that. When they do, they...
Yeah, because it's a general thing. It's a general statement. It doesn't give any detail, so what would be the point in looking at it?
See how incredible the company is, but more importantly... They see where this debt is. No, I don't owe Russia money. I owe a very, very small, it's called mortgages. Yeah. People have a house, they put a mortgage.
Any foreign bank, any foreign entity?
Not that I know of, but I will probably, because it's so easy to solve, and if you'd like to do, I will let you know who I owe whatever small amount of money. I want to say two things.
After the election, because I'm not going to reveal my taxes now, because then you'll know the truth. You know.
Number one, it's a very small amount of money. Number two, it's very straight. It's very, very straight. But it's a tiny percentage of the worth. Did you ever hear the expression under-levered?
Yeah.
I am extremely under-levered.
Well, here's the thing. You could clear
I thought it was under-leveraged. Am I wrong? Is it called something else in America? I don't know.
It's up tonight by just releasing your tax returns yourself. I mean, that's what I don't understand. I think people are just wondering.
As you know,
you're
I'm
the only.
It turned out that I am under-audited.
They
actually.
Says
excuse me. No. But you
the
accused.
IRS says that doesn't stop you from releasing.
You accused me of not being under-audited previously, and so did other people at NBC. And I am.
Yeah, but the IRS have said that doesn't stop you revealing your taxes, so you could do that, and you're not going to. And I would suggest there's a perfectly good reason for that, because you're corrupt as shit and trying to hide
it. So that was solved. That's good. I am under-audited. No person in their right mind would release prior to working out the deal with the IRS. And I'll go a step further.
Why?
I'm treated very badly by the IRS. They treat me very, very badly. You have people in there from previous administrations. They treat me very badly. But we're under audit. It's very routine in many ways, but we're under audit. They like to change the game, change the rules, do everything. You saw what they did with the Tea Party people. You saw what they did with the religious groups.
But to be clear, there is no law or rule that prohibits you from releasing your tax returns.
No, except common sense and intelligence and having lawyers that say, because I would love to release them, and as soon as...
I'd love to release them, and I've had years to do so, but I'm not going to. Like, you're full of shit.
We come to a conclusion, I will release them very gladly. But if you go to elections, and if you take a look, you'll see 112, I think it's 112. It talks about the income, which is rather massive. It talks about all of the properties. They have
you're only paying $750 in fucking federal income tax then.
People went there, all the reporters went. There was like a feeding frenzy. This was originally when I filed it. And I filed it every year. I update it every year. My son is here. They run the company. I don't run the company.
It also says that you paid $750.
No, he hasn't actually divested at all. That's not true. Like, he doesn't do the day-to-day running of it, because at least in theory he's supposed to be doing presidential work. He doesn't do that either. But he hasn't divested from it.
Taxes in the year you were elected.
Yeah,
is that true or not?
That's a statutory number. It's a statutory.
But is that true?
I think it's a filing number.
You're supposed to put it into trust, aren't you?
It's a filing or filing fee.
Most people here probably pay more.
No, I don't know. I can tell you this. If they have my tax returns, as you know, they have to go to jail. It's illegal. But their numbers were wrong. But let me tell you...
So they don't have your tax returns then, so they don't have to go to jail. Oh, Donald, you're fucking idiotic.
What else? I don't owe money to any of these sinister people. This has been going on for years now. Russia. It turned out to be a hoax. And it turned out to be that Hillary Clinton and the Democrats were dealing with Russia, not me. It's a whole
What is
hoax.
he talking about?
I would not mind at all saying who it is, but it's a very small... When you look at vast properties like I have, and they're big and they're beautiful and they're well located, when you look at that, the amount of money, $400 million, is a peanut. It's extremely underlevered. And
so why are you only paying $750 in?
All right, let's take a break. We'll get more voter questions right after this.
We're nearly through.
Of a town hall with President Trump. Thank you again for being here. We've got another voter, Adam Sugar. He voted for Clinton in 2016. He's registered as a Democrat and says he's supporting Biden. Adam, take it away.
Thank you, Savannah. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. 4 years ago, Senate leadership said it was inappropriate to push through a nominee in an election year. Yet they fast-tracked your nominee for the Supreme Court just today. The question I have for you is, what do you say to the voter that thinks it's hypocritical to act in that manner and that they can't trust Republicans' word?
So when I was elected, and when a president is elected, they're elected for a period of 4 years. And Justice Ginsburg said it best, I think, talking about President Obama having to do with somebody else, that the president is put there for 4 years, not for 3 years. So during this fourth year, it happened to come up.
Yeah, but the point is, you dopey prick, the first person you chose was on the basis that they wouldn't do it under the last year of Obama, whereas in the last month the last month before the election, the last few months before the end of your term, they're doing it. So his question is, how can we trust Republicans? You idiot.
Unfortunately, because I had great respect for Justice Ginsburg, but
yeah, of course you did.
A vacancy happened to come up, and we picked somebody that's outstanding. She has been an absolute star, and I'm extremely proud of it.
No, she's an idiot. She couldn't even name the 5 freedoms in the First Amendment.
I mean, there's plenty of time.
Which is a bit of an issue for a constitutional lawyer.
We also have much time after the election, but there's no reason to wait, because it's almost unanimous, it seems to me, certainly within the Republican Party, and frankly, most of the Democrats within closed rooms. I guarantee you that this is an outstanding person, and I'm using my 4th term. And you know...
4th term? He doesn't know what he's talking about. I really hope they stack the court. Fuck these cunts.
Look at it, that if you put the shoe...
If the other guys want to go nuclear, what else can you do?
On the other foot, if they had this, they would do it 100%. So there's been 29 times when this has happened. All 29 times a president has done exactly what I've
sorry.
done.
Can I just...
Sorry, Phoenix, in the chat. I just deleted your... your thing. I meant to press accept and I pressed hid. Sorry. So if you want to type it out again, it's fine. I'm not good at this tech stuff.
To the voters' point, I'll just say that in 2016 you were on another show, actually another morning show, and you were asked whether President Obama should nominate a Supreme Court Justice Merrick Garland. And you said, I think the Senate should wait until the next president and let the president pick. Now, that was 8 months before the election. This is 3 weeks before.
So you're full of shit. You're a lying bastard, Donald.
Well, I have a lot of respect, by the way.
So you have changed your position on this.
I have a lot of respect for Judge Garland. I want to tell you that. But I'll tell you, the whole ball game changed when I saw the way they treated Justice Kavanaugh.
Oh yeah, that did completely change. It's got nothing to do with trying to pack the courts or anything. Oh, fuck
I have never seen any human being, and I'm not just talking about Supreme Court, I have never seen a human being treated so badly with false accusations and everything else.
Really? Because one of your predecessors got shot in the head in Dallas? I'd say he got treated worse. Just saying.
I have never seen anything like it. And you know what? The truth is, Savannah, like it or not, the ball game changed a lot. There has never been anybody.
Do you hear that? The ball game has changed. Pack the court.
Treated so badly as now Justice Kavanaugh.
You've mentioned that you would like to see Amy Coney Barrett confirmed to the Supreme Court in case any challenges come up in connection with the election.
Yeah.
Do you expect her to rule for you?
I think she'll have to make that decision. I don't think she has any conflict at all. You know,
I don't think she has any conflict. I've just handpicked her to do the thing. But other than that, you know.
A Supreme Court judge does not have, I mean, they can make their own decision. And they actually have additional power.
Has
to
he
make
said
that
a single
decision.
true thing in this entire hour?
It would be totally up to her.
I don't think he
that
has.
She would be able to rule either for me or against me. I don't see any conflict whatsoever.
Another lie.
We have
Same
an
lie
election
again.
coming up. I think it's the most
Look how he
important
sits.
election in the history.
That's so. Hang on, we'll go back a second.
Conflict whatsoever. We have an.
Look how he sits. That's so weird. I think it's because he's got balance problems. He's got so little inner core strength that he can't sit on a high chair, so he has to have a foot on the ground to be able to balance, is my theory. But it's fucking weird. No one sits like that. Can you see anyone else in all of these other people on the? Because they're all on chairs above the ground, right? Which so their feet aren't like naturally on the ground. They've got like foot rest bars there, and everyone else is sat like reasonably normally. The host is sat, cross-legged but with her feet on the bar, and he's like, because he's got no core strength. I don't think he can keep himself upright via his hips and spine alone.
Election coming up. I think it's the most important election in the history of our country. If for any.
No, surely the 1864 election, which literally allowed America to continue to exist, I would suggest is slightly more important.
Any chance, and it probably won't, and I hope it doesn't ever get to the Supreme Court, but if it did, I would think that she would rule one way or the other. I would think so.
But for you...
Imagine that sentence for just a second. I think she would rule one way or the other. Yeah. I think they would sink or not sink in water. Yeah. I think if you put something in a fire, it'll burn or not burn. Like, yeah, obviously she'll rule one way or the other. That's so meaningless. How is anyone taken in by this shit?
You think she would rule for you?
I have no idea.
I mean, of course she'll rule one way or the other, but...
Believe it or not, I never asked her about it. I never talked about it.
That's a lie.
I didn't talk about any of the obvious things that you could talk about. And I think a lot of people in my position might. But in speaking to a lot of very brilliant people and people that do this for a living, they say it's better not to talk. So I talked to her about life.
Maybe
I talked to her about the fact, would you like to do this? Are you willing to do this? Because it's a tremendous burden. The answer was yes. She is unbelievably well qualified, but I never spoke to her about these various questions.
Let's get our next
That's
voter.
A lie.
She's leaning
She was
to
chosen specifically because of that, and she's young enough that she'll be there forever. I swear to God, Biden, if you don't pack the court, I am going to fucking terms of service violation.
Mr. President, she voted for you in 2016. She is a registered Republican. Her name is Mariah Green. Mariah, what's your question?
Thank you very much.
Someone says brain spurs. That's true. But he's only just gotten over lung spurs, so he's in trouble, the lad.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. President. I'm honored to be with you here tonight.
They're all leaning Trump.
So
Have they had any leaning Biden people at all tonight? The fuck?
I'm a pro-life millennial, and my question for you today
cringe.
is, if Roe v. Wade is ultimately overturned in the future, what protections would be put in place or kept for where the mother's life is in jeopardy in relation to high-risk pregnancies?
That doesn't sound like a pro-life position. What?
Again, I'm not ruling on this, and Roe v. Wade is something that a lot of people would say, obviously you're going to speak to somebody. I also, two other great justices, Justice Gorsuch and Justice Kavanaugh, I never spoke to them about Roe v. Wade. I never spoke to them about election law.
Why not? Why didn't you get their opinions on these things? He obviously did talk to them about it, or one of his team did. He probably didn't, because he doesn't even know what these things are. But someone in his team will have talked about it and got their opinions on this, obviously. I'd be disgusted if the president hadn't discussed these really important constitutional issues with a potential pick. Look, I'm going to disagree with him and these fuckers on this, but this is going to be really important constitutional law going forward. Why the fuck wouldn't you talk to a pick about that? It's mind-blowing. Like, it's a lie, but I wouldn't... He shouldn't lie about that. He should actually just tell the truth, because you should talk to your picks about those things. Obviously.
I never spoke to him about anything, and I've done the right thing.
What vetting did they do on any of these people?
I don't even know from a legal standpoint, but it was the right thing. I think, depending on what happens with Roe v. Wade, I think that perhaps it could get sent down to the states, and the states would decide. I also think perhaps nothing will happen. I have not talked to her about it.
Yeah, those are essentially the two options, yes. Either nothing will happen and the status quo remains, or it'll be sent down to the states. Like, again, he's literally just going, it'll go one way or the other. Yeah, we know. That's really not the issue at hand, is it? It's like, which of those do you want to happen? Which of those does your pick for the court want to happen?
Talk to her about it, and some people would say you can talk to her about it. I just think it would be inappropriate.
But what is your preference? Because it agreed that's not something you should talk to the judge about. But would you like to see Roe?
Well, hang on, but why? Why shouldn't you talk to them about that?
Versus Wade overturned.
I would like to see a brilliant jurist, a brilliant person who has done this in great depth and has actually skirted this issue for a long time, make a decision. And that's why I chose her.
Skirted it, not actually dealt with it.
I think that she's going to make a great decision. I did not tell her what decision to make, and I think it would be inappropriate to say right now, because I don't want to do anything to influence her. I want her to get approved, and then I want her to go by the law. And I know she's going to make a great decision for our country.
But you running as a pro-life Republican, most pro-life Republicans would like to see Roe v. Wade overturned and abortion banned.
Many of them would.
What do you
Perhaps
think?
most of them would. I am telling you, I don't want to do anything to influence anything right now. I don't want to go out tomorrow and say, oh...
You're the president. You don't want to do anything to influence anything. Why are you here then? Why are you running for president? What's the point of that? What the fuck are you talking about? I can't wait to see the numbers once this starts filtering through in the next couple of days, because this will bump him down further. There's no way anyone looks at this and is convinced by it.
He's trying to give her...
He'll still stick hold of his 35-40% plus a few others. But he'll definitely dip a bit, because anyone who was vaguely leaning towards him after this was like, oh, this is shit. What the fuck is this dude doing?
Because
that first half was a massacre.
You speak to her about it. I've done the right thing in so doing. How she's going to rule, you're going to find out perhaps, or you might not find out. I mean, it may never get there. It may never get there. We'll see what happens.
All right, we have another question. This is Cindy Velez. She is undecided. She says she's leaning to Biden, and she did vote for Clinton in 2016. She's registered as a Democrat. Hi, Cindy. What's your question?
Good evening, Savannah. Good evening, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
As the mother of a young male of color, I have raised him to respect authority, not only because it's the right thing to do, but also out of fear that he may face profiling or be considered a criminal. As an educator, I've also had similar conversations with my high school students.
Fuck the police coming straight from the underground. I'm not saying the second line to that song. It's not happening.
Mr. President, what will you and your administration do to better prepare our law enforcement officers to work in collaboration?
Yeah, the Biden Townhall did go a lot better than this. Like I say, he came slightly unstuck on the packing the courts question because he was just bumbling and stumbling and was obviously just trying not to answer. But the rest of the time he seemed alright. He's ultimately all he needs is to not be shit, and he wasn't. So okay.
With the communities that they serve, and also to protect the lives of innocent Black and Latinos from police brutality and injustice.
Right. I fully understand the question, and I saw everything.
Hang on a minute. In the chat, if abortion is banned, many will... What? What's the final word of that? Fund the Pope? No, that's a different person, sorry. YouTube nuked the word die. Fucking hell. I shouldn't laugh because that's a really serious point they're making. But the fact that YouTube nuked the word die, but not like abortion or whatever, like the what the YouTube is so weird. Like you can literally get fucking JQ videos that have monetization on them, but you can't say the word die in a chat. What about if you want to express sympathy that someone died, or say that you hope someone doesn't die? Would it still nuke the word? I don't know. Also, I presume they have a different algorithm in German, because die is just the word for the, isn't it? So that would make conversation in German a lot more difficult. Just saying.
Thing that you saw over the summer, and it was a terrible thing to watch. We were very strongly, we have a...
Apart from you've consistently defended the police over their brutality towards people of colour. But other than that, Donald, yeah, we totally believe you.
Senator named Tim Scott from South Carolina. He came up with a bill that should have been approved. It was great. It was a bill that was strong in terms of law enforcement and strong in terms of enforcing the proper thing and doing the proper thing by law enforcement. And the Democrats just wouldn't go for it. They wouldn't go for it at all. And I don't know why, because it was a really great bill. But I do have to say this. And some people don't like it when I say it, but a lot of people agree. I have done more for the African American community than any president, with the exception of Abraham Lincoln.
And I've already said that's not true. I would argue Lyndon B. Johnson did a lot more. Kennedy laid the groundwork for Johnson's work there. Again, not defending either of those people or saying they were super duper awesome. Literally no president of America has ever been awesome for black people. But Donald Trump is by no means anywhere near even the top half. Well, other than if we say post-slavery, you know, on black stuff, because he's literally supported the police murdering them and stuff, you know, smeared black kids who've been killed. Literally wanted the Central Park 5 executed, even after they've been proven to have not committed the crime.
Criminal justice reform, prison reform, historically black colleges and universities. I got them funded. They were on a year-to-year basis. They could have been put out of business. As soon as our country had a little bad year, they would have said, I'm sorry, we're not going to fund you. I got them 10.
That's, again, not true. They've survived through, like, the Great Depression and shit. What the fuck are you talking about? Historically, black colleges and universities have survived through way worse situations than the current one. So, I mean, the fact that some funding has gone to them, okay, that's cool, but that doesn't mean a lot. It doesn't mean you've saved them or whatever, or that black people owe you shit, you racist piece of garbage.
You
literally fucking said that there was some fine people on both sides, when the one side was neo-Nazis. What the fuck are you talking about?
Funding and financing, and more than I even asked for. I became very friendly with a lot of the heads, but we've done more, and of course, opportunity zones. But criminal justice
just a tax
reform,
cut for rich white people.
Everybody said it could not be done. President Obama and Biden never even tried to do it. They never even tried. But I say that, and I say it often.
But you haven't done prison reform. You've continued and expanded private prisons. Mass incarceration has happened under your watch. The use of slave labour in prisons has continued under your watch. What the fuck are you talking about?
Loud, and I'm very proud of it. And I have a great relationship because of what I've done with the African American community. I'm very proud of it.
Really? Okay. African American voting intentions. Black turnout in the 2020 general election. Gallup. September the 13th, Biden leads the Trump among black voters by 90% to 5%. 90% to 5%. Okay? Oh, I need to subscribe to... I'm not subscribing to the Wall Street Journal. Whatever. Anyway, yeah, Biden leading Trump 90% to 5%. Donald Trump has an 87% disapproval rating amongst black Americans. Trump promised that if elected president, he would get 95% of the black vote in 2020. Well, he was right about the second number. Give him that much. He got the 5% absolutely spot on. It's just the whole, 9 out of 10 extra that he got wrong. Don't know that he does have a great affinity with the black community. Sorry, Don. The numbers don't bear you out on that one. Which I know is a regular thing for you, but whatever.
Let's go to our next question. We have Paulette Dale. She leans slightly to Biden. She voted for Clinton in 2016. She's registered as a Republican. Paulette, what's your question?
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
I have to say, you have a great smile.
Oh, this one was thirsty as fuck for him.
So,
she's leaning Biden, but she wants Trump's tiny orange dick. It's embarrassing.
He does. You're so handsome when you smile. Okay. As the daughter of immigrants to the United States who fled Eastern Europe due to religious persecution,
right?
The United States immigration policy.
And Donald Trump, obviously being the son of a mother who escaped Western Europe because of Scotland. That's a little joke for you Scots. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, but he's an anchor baby, which is funny.
Policies are very personal for me.
Right.
Surveys show that most Americans and the majority of Republicans support the Dreamers program.
She made me dry.
So my question for you, Mr. President, is if you are elected to a second term, do you expect to pursue your previous efforts to cut the DACA program?
Yeah.
Why or why not?
And the DACA is somewhat different than Dreamers. You understand that, and you understand it better than anybody probably in this room. Where do you come from, by the way, originally? Where?
My grandparents were from Russia and Poland.
That's very good. Okay.
Are they really white then? Is that white enough for Donald? I don't know.
To take care of DACA, we're going to take care of Dreamer. It's working right now.
We're going to take care of Dreamer.
We're negotiating
There's only one of
different aspects of immigration and immigration law. We've built now over 400 miles of border wall, southern border.
That's not true, by the way. He's renovated most of that. They've built very, very little of it. But I pointed this out on the show the other day. Let's just give him that he's built 400 miles. That border's 2,000 miles long. Actually, over 2,000 miles long. 400 miles in 4 years is shit. How many terms would that take you to build at that rate? Certainly far more than 2. Certainly far, like at that rate, you will die before it gets built, Donald, if it continues at that rate. And the fact is, you haven't built 400 miles. Like 300 of it, well, actually more than 300 of it was already built. You've built very little. And even some of the bits you have built have blown down in the wind. Some of it's being sold for scrap. Because that ball's not fucking happening.
Mexico's working very closely with us. We have the strongest...
Mexico's working closely with us. Note that he didn't say Mexico's paying for it. Because they're not.
Border we've ever had. We want people to come into our country. They have to come in legally. But we are working very hard on the DACA program. And you will be, I think, very happy over the course of the next year.
Thank you.
Because I feel the same way as you do about it.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
Mr. President.
Wow, that weird sexual tension is the highlight of the presidential campaign so far. That and the fly. So, thirsty woman in Florida, Paulette, and fly on Mike Pence's head are the highlights of
Point of fact, the DACA program, there are, under your administration, no new applicants are allowed. And in fact, the DACA recipients now have to renew every year as opposed to every 2 years. So in fact, the DACA program has been curtailed by your administration.
Well, what happened is because of the pandemic, much changed on the immigration front. Mexico
did it? Okay.
Mexico is heavily infected, as you know, and we've made it very, very difficult.
Less infected than America, as indeed was Canada. So you can't even say it was people coming across the border. Mexico shut the border down to America. Canada did as well in places, to be fair.
To come in because of the pandemic and other reasons, and crime. But we have a very strong border right now, and we have to keep it that way. But we want people to come into our country, but they have to come in through a merit system, and they have to come in.
Unlike your wives and your mother, none of whom had any real merit to be in America. No offence to them. I don't personally think merit is necessarily a massively important thing, but whatever. If he wants the merit system, then a lot of his family are going to have to leave. Well, his mum's dead now. I think it would be rude to dig her up and throw her back to Scotland, but, you know, she's not exactly contributing anymore. That's not nice. That's not nice, although she did marry a racist and give birth to racists, so she had a racist vagina, clearly. That's clearly the thing that happened.
Legally, and people are very, very happy with it. You haven't heard any complaints about that. But what happened is because of the pandemic, we have to be extra cautious.
You have been promising this immigration bill since, well, at least July, when you told my colleague on Telemundo it was coming, but nothing's come yet. It's
very happy. The fact is, we got rid of catch and release, which is a disaster. You know, you catch somebody, they could be a murderer, they could be a rapist, and we're supposed to release them.
No, Donald. It's only for people who have non-violent crimes that will be released on the catch and release system. And again, they're not being released and they're just free to go. It's until you have the ability to process them is the issue. And you can't get on the DACA program if you have any criminal record. So you're just talking shit again. It's all race-baiting nonsense, man.
Into our country. These are the laws that I inherited. We ended that program. Now, I think you're going to see something very, very good. The whole immigration, if you look at what's going on, absolutely. People used to pour into our country, and especially...
Yeah, like your mum and your wives.
During the pandemic, I think I think even you, Savannah, will be very impressed.
Sir, we have about 30 seconds left. I think about people sitting out there tonight. There are some who love you. Some of them are sitting right around here, and some who will never vote for you. But there are people in the middle. There are people who aren't sure.
That's right.
There are people who want to know
Look at this
why they should give you a second chance and how you might improve in a second term.
Centrism.
What would you say to them?
Because I've done a great job. We have the strongest economy in the world. We closed it up. We are coming around the corner. The vaccines are coming out soon.
She'll be coming around the corner.
The economy is strong. We are at a level with jobs like we've never been before. We've rebuilt our military. We've rebuilt our borders. We had no borders. We had no nothing.
We had no borders. Listen to this fucking cretin. We had no borders.
We've rebuilt so much. We've given you the greatest tax cut in the history of our country.
No, you've given billionaires the greatest tax giveaway in the history of the world. That is true. You shat on everyone else.
Greatest regulation cut, equally as important.
Yeah, equally important so that people can fucking poison water supplies that turn the freaking frogs gay, apparently. I heard that somewhere. I don't know who said that. But...
And we created new levels of jobs that nobody thought was possible.
What are you... Oh, I fucking hate this. That nobody thought was possible. What are you talking about? Well, I dream of a place that fucking... no, I believe that we can get there where you have 100% employment. That would be fucking awesome. That no one thought was possible. Fuck off.
And next year is going to be better than ever before.
I got to leave it there. I got a wrap from the control room. Mr. President, thank you for your time.
Fuck off. Oh, let's go back to Karl Marx's massive cock. Anyway. Oh, that was... Yeah, the first half of that was an absolute fucking massacre. There's no coming back from any of this now. His numbers are through the floor as they are. And that will have convinced people to go, at least, like, even if people don't want to vote for Biden, they're not going to vote for that. He'll never lose his 30 to 35% base of people, because those people, literally, if he went on stage and smeared shit all over his face and fucking punched a veteran to death, they'd say it's 4D chess, the man's a genius, trust the plan and vote for him. So there's nothing you can do there. But in terms of him actually being able to win voters around, not a chance. Not a fucking chance. Yeah. Anyway, so, you know, that's what that was. That was... I needed to do a deep dive onto that one. I couldn't just... The two clips that we looked at yesterday in yesterday's show were not enough. I needed to ensure that that we saw the whole thing, because it was fucking glorious in its absolute stupidity. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, Donald Trump's going to lose. I've very little doubt of that. Whether he'll actually still continue to be president will depend on whether fascism reigns in America. You've heard the phrase in the past, socialism or barbarism. Whilst socialism isn't necessarily on the agenda in the near future, barbarism very much is. We're about to find out whether people want to go down the barbarism route. Yay. But anyway, I'm going to fuck off now, I think. I'm on the Twitches. I'm going to kick you over to somebody who's streaming. Riley Grace Roshong. She's very good. A trans legal student. Very good. Anyway, I'll fuck off now anyway. And I'll say that even though the cowards flinch and traitors sneer, we'll keep the red flag flying here. No pass around.